everybody, welcome back to COVID-19 Shutdown 2. Live with Pilates today. If you've never done Pilates before, join in, but be careful, work within your limitations. If you're a regular at my community health Pilates classes, let's go. Okay, coming to the front of our mat, standing up tall, shoulders back, lifting up our pelvic floor, pulling our lower belly muscles in, so tightening the band of muscle that runs around from your back of your spine around past your hip bones, your transverse abdominis. So lift up your pelvic floor, pull in that band. Big inhale in through the nose, expanding the sides and backs of your ribs, and an exhale out of your mouth. On our next one, inhale our arms over our head, and exhale, bring them down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Lifting up that pelvic floor and your TA muscle, we'll call it a T-zone. So pulling in your T-zone. On our next inhale, as we raise our arms, come up onto our toes. Putting weight underneath the ball of the big toe. And slowly down. First couple are wobbly. Come off your mat if you need. So a big focus during our movements today. They're slow movements, but we set our body first by controlling that T-zone, controlling our core. Okay, going into some roll downs now. Standing tall, shoulders are down our back, so we're pulling our shoulder blades down to our back hip pockets. Start rolling down, head rolls over first, shoulders up and over like you're coming up over a pulley. All the way down. Knees can be slightly bent for the first few. Hamstrings might be a bit tight if you've been working out or sitting at a desk. And slowly stack the vertebrae up again. So just rolling down slowly. Straighten the legs a little bit more each time. Some people's hamstrings or backs of legs will become quite straight, others will remain quite bent. Next, roll over, let's stay hanging down. Knees can remain slightly bent if that's comfortable. Have our feet about hip width apart. Just relax the upper body. Let the crown of the head down towards the mat. Let the shoulders relax. Maybe sway a little bit from side to side. Taking the butt from side to side. And maybe forwards and back. So into the weight forward into the balls of the feet just a little bit, and then take the weight back into the heels slightly. And just gentle rocks forward and back. Feeling our whole foot against the mat. Okay, bend your knees enough so that you can place your hands out on the floor. We're going to walk our hands out until we're in a full plank. So your backs of your heels to your shoulders should be making a straight line. If this is too much for you, drop your knees and have a straight line between your tailbone and your shoulders. So your choice, but in whatever position you are in your plank, make sure your shoulders are above the palms of your hands. You're not out at an angle pushing away into the hands, but we're actually up and over those wrists. Definitely holding the T-zone in here, pulling in the pelvic floor, lifting up that band around between our hip bones. Couple of deep breaths. And then we're going to tuck our tailbone up in the air and walk ourselves back. And then walking forward again. Just some nice big hand movements till we come to our plank. This time everyone can drop their knees if they like, and we're just going to do a couple of push-ups. So the elbows are coming in towards our body for a tricep push-up. And then we're going to tuck our tailbone up in the air and walk back again. Gather your breath as you hang over and then walk out again. Come to your plank. You can do it from your toes, your tricep push-up if you wish. Otherwise, 2 push-ups from the knees. Really drawing in those elbows, grazing the sides of the ribs as you go down and up. And then walking back. And we've just got one more. So walking out for the last time. Drop the knees, uncurl the toes. Down we come for our tricep push-up 1 and 2. And then just take your tailbone back towards your heels into child's pose just for a moment. Stretching out underneath those arms. And then I want you to come up onto all 4. Knees are under your hip bones. Hands are under the shoulders, so again, not leaning back, not leaning too far forward, but our weight directly above our wrists. Hold the belly up. Then we're going to extend our left leg behind us and our right arm forward for spinal balance. So just holding here, trying to maintain a steadiness. It can be a bit wobbly. If it's too much with the arm up, bring the arm down. Try and keep the shoulders square. Another couple of breaths. And then take a big inhale, and as you exhale, bring that right elbow in to meet under the body with your left knee. And then inhale, extend. Exhale, draw in underneath, curl up. Exhale, extend. Keep going on this side. Hold out and extend again, one more breath. And then place that hand and knee down. And just give the little wrists a little bit of relief. And that left wrist off. And then we're going to work the other side. So sit up on your all fours, extend the right leg and the left arm. And just hold here in spinal balance. We are wobbly because it is a balance. Inhale, and as you exhale, curl elbow to opposite knee underneath the body. Continue with that side. Inhale, extend, exhale, curl. Extend and hold there for another breath. And then relax the hands down, sit back into child's pose. The wrists a small circle if they're feeling uncomfortable. And then I'll get you to slide out onto your tummy. Place the thumbs on the underneath the elbows, palms of the hands on the floor, under the shoulders, sorry. Keep the legs about hip width apart. And then we're going to tighten our T-zone and inhale, raise our chest, using our hands to push up. And then exhale, go down. So just be aware of how your lower back feels. Don't have to go too hard. Just gradually up and down, just loosening up through that lower spine. On your next inhale, raise yourself up to wherever you can that's comfortable. Holding yourself up there. And then gradually come down. Rest your head on your palms of your hands underneath your forehead. Bring the heels of your feet together. And on our next inhale, we're going to raise those heels and straight legs up off the mat. Then begin to beat them. Beat the heels together. Not too hard, don't bruise your heels. Little fast movements. One more breath here, keep beating. Feel the sides, the glute muscles here in your butt are working hard. Holding those knees off the mat. And slow the beats down and release out to the mat. Have the ankles hip width apart again and extend your hands above your head. So keeping our eyes facing down towards the mat, just want you to raise your left arm and your right leg. Keep the legs straight. Keep the hip bones both level, pointing towards the mat, so we're not lifting up a hip bone as we lift our leg. So just raise up and slowly down. Upper side, right hand, left leg, point those toes and lower. Keep alternating slowly. Okay, rest down. Our next move, we're going to raise both our arms and our legs and hold them up. So inhale, raise legs and arms like Superman, and then lower. Exhale. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. And lower. Raise and lower. Raise, lower. This time raise and hold. Hold up there and then kick arms and legs for swimming. So paddling the feet and the hands up and down quite rapidly. Breathing deeply, still trying to hold our T-zone together. Lots of instructions here. Big deep breaths, strong movements with our hands and our legs. And then have a rest. Okay, making our way up and over onto our bottom. Sitting up on our bottom, having our knees bent. Feet on the floor, ankles hip width apart. Hands just gently on the sides of our thighs, just above our knees. We're going to sit tall, we've got a straight back, we're going to drop our shoulders down, still trying to draw these shoulder blades down and towards each other, down our back. But in doing so, we don't want to pop our ribs out too far. So keep our T-zone working, keep our ribs sitting, flush against our body. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, just slowly scoop that belly in. So draw the belly in here and roll back. Not all the way. Take an inhale, back in this position. Exhale, curl up. And then sit tall, straight spine. Inhale, prepare, exhale, curl. Inhale, prepare, exhale, scoop our way up. Now if you can do it without hanging on behind the knees, just rest the hands lightly beside the outside of the knees. Off we go again, just slowly. Pilates is all about the quality of our movements, not the quantity. Inhale, prepare to come back up. Exhale, come back up. Okay, on our next roll back, we're going to stay back there. So off we go. We're going to take our hands away from our knees, grab some imaginary handles and row backwards and out. So holding in our roll back, we're going to row back, pulling our elbows down beside the outsides of our hips. Scoop that belly in. Reach forward, scoop up, come to sitting. Place the soles of the feet together, sit tall, and just take the knees towards the mat. Just stretching the insides of our inner thighs. And then we're going to spread our legs wide in a V shape. Engage our thighs. So to engage our thighs, we're going to pull our toes back towards us. Arms out to the side. And sitting up tall, we're just going to circle our arms around and around in circles. And reverse the circles. Still the circles. Now sitting tall here, we're just going to swivel at the waist, 2 little pulses behind us. So right arm back behind us, 2 pulses, 1, 2, back to center, 1, 2. Making sure the movement's coming here at the waist. We're not lifting our hips off the ground at all. We're sitting as tall as we can, but we're still pulling those shoulder blades down our back. Coming back to centre, now we're going into the saw. So we're going to twist around our right arm towards our left foot, and then we're going to reach forward with our right hand and saw off 2 little pulses on the outside of our little pinky toe there. Come up and back to centre. Twist to the right, reach the outside of that foot, 2 little pulses. So you're trying to saw off that little pinky toe. It's called the saw, this movement. That's why I'm saying chop off your toe. Keep the back arm high. We seem to have lost our music, so if you want to put some music on at home, feel free. Drown out the sound of my instructions. One more each side. Come back to centre and release the arms down. Okay, coming back with bent legs, feet on the floor. We're going into our roll back one more time. So sit tall, inhale, and as you exhale, roll back. This time we're taking our arms out to the side like we did when we were seated and just rotating those arms again, scooping that belly. Reverse the direction. And bring the arms forward and scoop up. Well done. Okay, let's straighten our legs. Little rest moment if you would like now. Just grab a glass of water. I might just see if we can get a little bit of background music on for a moment. Okay, sitting up tall now, bring our legs out straight in front of us. And we're going to do what we call pilates stancing our legs. So I'm actually turning my thighs as though I'm wrapping them around towards, underneath me, towards my bottoms. So I'm externally rotating my legs. My heels together, my feet will spread naturally apart from the movement of wrapping the top part of my legs. Pointed toes. If you find you're getting cramp in Pilates, just start to flex the feet or don't take a little bit off your point of your toes. Sitting tall, let's raise our arms in front of us as we inhale, and as we exhale, let's slowly, slowly paint our spine down onto our mat, one vertebra at a time. So we're scooping shoulders away from our ears until we get all the way down to the floor. Okay, so our back is now against the mat. Bend our knees. Notice we have a little natural arch under the spine. That's what we call our neutral arch, a little bit of a hollow. You might be able to just slide your hand there. Your hips and your pubic bone are level. That's what we call a neutral spine. So pull in your pelvic floor, engage this transverse abdominis muscle. That's how our spine is naturally neutral when we stand, unless we have a sway back or something a little bit different. When we go to lift both of our legs in particular off the mat, we like to slightly take the lower back towards the mat. So draw in the hip bones and the rib bones slightly together like a little mini abdominal crunch, just to support that back muscle. So, doing that, imprint the lower back slightly towards the mat. Doesn't have to be pushed down, just little mini crunch happening in the belly. Lift one leg up into tabletop and bring the other leg up to meet it. Join the knees and the ankles with imaginary glue and take your arms out to the side. Quite often in this position, our ribs will then flare up, but we want to keep that little mini crunch happening. We want to slide our ribs down towards our hip bones. Take an inhale, and as you do so, take the knees over to one side. Right, if you're going to the left, your right butt will come off the ground and vice versa, and then bring them back to center. Take them over to the other side. So we're getting a little bit of rotation or in the spine here. So we have to protect our spine by keeping our T-zone switched on, keeping those ribs sliding down towards our hips. So this is called pendulum. With all those muscles being activated, we're working out quite hard, even though the move is very simple. If it's too much with your legs in the air, you can just do this with your feet on the ground and your knees bent, even in bed. Coming back to centre on our next one, as we go out to the side, if you'd like to straighten the top leg and then draw back to centre with that top leg being as long as it can, and then come back into tabletop. Go over to the other side, extend the leg, mind the cupboard, back to center, back into tabletop. So just a few each side like this. Last one on whatever side you're finishing on. Bring yourself back to tabletop and lower the legs to the floor. Option 1, abdominal curls. Feet resting on the floor, hands by the ears. Inhale, prepare, exhale. Chin towards the chest, look towards your knees, raise the shoulders off the mat, slide the ribs down to the hip bones, pulling in the belly, at the same time pulling in the pelvic floor and the lower TA muscle, and then lower the hips down. Inhale, prepare, exhale, come up, inhale, lower. So it's really important when you come up, you don't come up feeling as though you're pushing your pelvic floor out. You need to engage that muscle first, so draw in your pelvic floor muscle, draw in this band between the hip bones, and then come up, slide the ribs, keep the ribs flat down towards the hip bones, and lower. So you may not come up very far without you feeling as though you're not maintaining that T-zone. So don't push it any further, you'll do more damage to your pelvic floor. So this, doing abdominal curls and taking great notice of how your pelvic floor feels will give you a good idea of how the next exercise should be attempted. If you had difficulty feeling as though you had control on your pelvic floor, stay with the abdominal curls we just did. Otherwise, we can go into full length roll-ups. So extend the legs, although some people could start with them bent. Extend the legs if they're extended Pilates stance. Pelvic floor switched on first, transverse abdominis pulled in gently. Inhale, raise the hands over the head. Exhale, lift the head and shoulder blades, ribs pulling down, mini crunch happening here, drawing the ribs sliding down towards the hips, coming up to a full roll-up. Inhale, prepare, exhale, curl, scoop, shoulders down your back, ribs sliding towards the hip bones, pelvic floor switched on. So that's our full roll up. If your pelvic floor is feeling it's under pressure, just small lifts of the shoulders. Still working all these abdominal muscles but not damaging them by coming up further than what you should be. Most importantly, look after that pelvic floor first, because if we concentrate so much on just these upper abdominal muscles lifting us up, it's like a balloon pressure, all the balloons pushing it out between our legs, and we're damaging our pelvic floor between our legs. So more important that we control, lift just where we can, whatever stage we can be at. Two more roll-ups. a good sign that you'll be damaging or doing more damage than good to your pelvic floor. If you're coming up and your whole belly bulges up, bulge, 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 that's a sign that you haven't got enough abdominal control yet to be doing the full roller. Okie doke. So we are into the hundreds next again. First option, feet on the floor, knees bent, raise the shoulder blades, reach the arms forward, a little micro bend in the elbows and pulse the arms. Second option, imprint the spine, knees into tabletop, reach forward and pulse. Third option, begin to straighten your legs towards the ceiling or lower. So find your position and start pulsing those arms. Haven't got any counters here, so keep going until you think you've done 100. You haven't done them yet. Another 3 breaths, I'd say. Okay, bring the knees into your chest. Have a little roll from side to side. So if you're new to Pilates, please try and limit how much you do. I don't want to be cursed tomorrow because you've got sore abdominals and can't move. So just maybe do half of what we're doing and have a little rest break and then recommence. Okay, next exercise is leg circles. So option 1 is a bent knee and a straight leg. And take the straight leg up to the sky, circle it down the middle, out and around, back to roof. Down, out and around, round. The second option is straight leg on the floor, other straight leg to the roof, and circle. Now there's no prizes for the biggest leg circle. The whole idea is to switch on our core here, our T-zone. Ribs we don't want bulging up, we want to flatten them down. Flatten the ribs, slide them down towards the hip bones, and then make our circle at whatever level you can control this core, because we don't want wobbly bodies. So basically our torso is still, and the only movement is coming at this hip joint. Reverse your circle. Out and around, up through the middle. So if you've got your knee bent, just have a glance, make sure that's keeping still. That's kept still by us controlling our core muscles here in our torso. And release that leg down to the mat. And we'll work on the other side. So bent or straight base leg. Other foot up towards the ceiling. T-zone switched on, ribs sliding down. Down and go through the middle, up and around. Let's reverse our direction. So even if you're not mobile, Pilates is an option for you. You can do a lot of these exercises on your bed. I know the base might be a little bit softer, And you can still do a lot of these exercises on your bed. Okay, bring that leg down. Well done. Just let the knees just gently go from side to side, a little bit of rotation in our back. Okay, we're going into oblique abdominal curls. So choice 1, feet on the floor. Choice 2, legs in tabletop. Choice 3, both legs straight up at the roof. So pick your leg option, and then we are inhaling, preparing, trying to keep our ribs flat. Exhale, take our opposite rib bone to our opposite hip bone. And come back to centre. Now you don't need to lower the head all the way down in between exercises. So once you come up to centre, raise the head and shoulders off the mat. Then we go to the opposite side. Back to centre. So come distinctly back to centre before you do the twist to the other side. And don't think twist, I want to see how far my elbow goes to one side. We actually want to visualise the movement being this rib bone coming over to meet our opposite hip bone. That's the movement we want. We're working these oblique muscles. So we're not working our elbow muscles or our shoulder muscles. They're just there as a little bit of a leverage behind us. So if you have your legs in the air, either in tabletop or straight, it's just adding a little bit of extra on your lower abdominals, as well as on your oblique muscles. And come back to centre and lower the head. Well done. How's our abdominal muscles going? Okay, just a few more on this side, on our back, sorry. We're going to come up into tabletop, so T-zone switched on, slightly imprint the back, a little mini crunch, ribs to hips, into tabletop. And then bring our heads and shoulders up and place our palms of our hands gently on our knees. Then as we extend our left leg out straight, we're going to take our right arm behind us. Come back into tabletop and then the other side. Back, glance down, make sure the belly's not protruding like a big balloon. Make sure the pelvic floor is switched on. It may be too much extending your leg out obliquely. Maybe you'll straighten it up towards the roof. One more each side. Come back into tabletop. Rest the head and lower the legs. Again, knees can just gently sway from side to side. And then we'll make our way over onto our side. And we're going to go into a side elbow plank for starters. So we want to have our elbow directly under our shoulder. Now we have choice 1 being our plank from one knee, so our bottom knee will be bent with our foot pointing behind us as balance. And then we can come up with a straight top leg. Option 1, and then we're going to just lower our hip towards the mat and then lift it up. Lower and lift. If you feel you can manage with your feet either stacked on top or top foot in front of the bottom foot in a full side plank, then we're lowering and lifting. So join in with it, whatever option. So lower towards the mat, lift that top hip towards the ceiling. Two more. Lift and hold, raise the top arm towards the sky and then release to the mat. Great job. Take yourself all the way down onto the floor. Extend your bottom arm under your head and rest it down if that's comfortable, or if you prefer to bend the hand and rest the head in the hand, do so. Bring our knees forward, bent, and our feet in line with our hip and shoulder. So make a straight line from shoulder to hip to feet. Now I'm sagging like a beautiful banana here on the mat. What I want to do is take my top hip and stack it above my bottom. So I'm pushing it away so that they're on top of each other. I'm bringing that top hip slightly forward rather than rolling backwards. If I bring it slightly forward, it's actually stacking above my lower hip. So I'm long through the waist at the top and long through the waist at the bottom. Keeping my heels on the ankles on the floor, I'm just going to open my knee into a clam and close it. As I open, I don't want to roll my top hip back. I want to keep it in the same spot where it is. It doesn't move. It's stacked above the bottom hip. So it's not a wide open of the knees here, but I can feel my glute muscle, my butt muscles really working. You place your hand on your butt, you should feel those glute muscles working. And just look down and make sure you're not feeling as though, not viewing that top hip rolling backwards. And knee down. Extend your legs. Bring the toes slightly forward on the mat so that you can just see your feet. So we're actually made a slight V, mini V position. Again, sagging in the middle, lift that bottom waist, push that top hip away. Make sure they're still stacked. Flex the feet, so bring the toes back towards you and lift your top leg. Push through both heels. So really lengthening and pushing through that top heel particularly. And then lower. And then lift. Only to hip height, but really pushing through the foot. Hold that top heel up, hip height, slightly over hip height maybe, and bring the bottom foot up to meet it. So still with our feet flexed. Join those heels and toes together, and then we're going to lower both feet and then lift both feet. Again, not rolling backwards. I've got my hand in front of me here for a little bit of stability. Try not to put too much of my weight through the hand. Lift and hold both legs, point the toes and start to kick. Little scissor kicks, only about a foot or 18 inches either way. Bring the feet back together, hold and lower. Well done. One more exercise on this side. You can bend the bottom leg, bend the top leg and place the foot behind the bottom leg. So this time I am slightly rotating backwards just so that I can open up that top hip. Then I'm going to lift and lower my bottom leg with a pointed foot. So I'm really feeling this inner thigh muscle do the work. So I'm not focusing on lifting my foot as much as feeling this inner thigh muscle work. So put your attention in that part of your body. And lower down. Good job. Okay, we're just going to make our way onto our other side. And set up for our clam, so ankles, hips and shoulders all in a row. Laying our body, no, we've got our side plank first. So our side plank again from our knee, with just our top leg straight, or from both feet. And then we're lowering and lifting. Lower, lift, lower, lift. Keep it going. Hold it up there. Raise the top arm and lower down. Good job. Okay, sorry, now we'll have our clam. So, knees bent, ankles, hips and shoulders in a nice straight line. Top hip away, stack those hips and then open our knee for the clam. Focusing, take our focus to this top glute muscle, butt muscles. So still working, concentrating on our T-zone here. And release the knees. Okay, straight legs in a semi-pike position. Flex the feet, heels and toes together. Make sure those hips are still stacked, and then we're just lifting and lowering our top leg, pushing through both heels. So growing tall and lengthening our legs here. Okay, let's take that top leg up, bring our bottom leg up and lower the bottom leg. Lift and lower, lift. Two more, lift, lower. Lift and hold both legs up there, and then it's a double leg lower and lift, lower and lift. And relax the feet down to the ground. Okay, taking our top leg, bending it, the knee towards the ceiling and placing the foot behind the lower leg knee. Point the lower leg and then lift with your inner thigh. Two more. And relax down. Okay, rolling onto your back. Let's have one knee bent, resting on the floor, our other leg pointing to the ceiling. We're just going to flex our foot, push up through our heel and then point our foot as much as we can. Flex, point, flex, point, flex, point. Flex your foot and then rotate the foot, so working the ankle here. You can completely relax your T-zone now. We're up to stretches of our legs. You'll be glad to know. And then rotate the circle of the ankle in the other direction. And bring it back to a flex position. Taking your hands just behind your thigh or your calf. Start to draw that leg towards you. Try and keep your tailbone pointing still on the mat though. Don't just lift the whole hips up off the ground. So feeling the stretch in the back of our leg here, hamstring particularly, but maybe even into your calf a little bit. So I hope everyone's staying well out there, wearing your masks when you go to the supermarket or anywhere where you think there might be people that get a bit close to you. Even in Edenhope and our smaller regional towns, it doesn't hurt to wear a mask. Cross that ankle down onto the bent knee and then draw that bent knee towards you, grabbing the back of its thigh. So feeling the stretch in your outer hip here. And release that leg. Time to work the other leg. So taking the other leg towards the ceiling, flex and point the foot. We push through that heel, feeling the stretch. When we flex it from the right from the heel, back of the ankle in the Achilles there, and all the way up the leg down into your butt. Rotate the ankle. And the other direction. And then stretching that leg towards you. Try and straighten it as much as you can. You might still have a bit of a bend. That doesn't matter as long as you feel the stretch. That's all we're aiming for. And then cross that foot onto the leg. Diaphragm and grab the thigh. If you've joined us tonight live, thank you. But you can always come back once the video is uploaded onto our Facebook site and repeat it as many times as you like. There's lots of different videos, Pilates and yoga videos on there already that you could rotate through. So no excuses for getting inactive. Okay, a little bit of a roll until you can roll yourself up into a seated position. Let's take one arm up in the air, rest our other arm down on the floor. Just have a side stretch, stretching out at these muscles between our ribs and our oblique tummy muscles. And then the other side. Always like to finish with 3 big breaths to expand our lungs. So let's breathe in together and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. One more. And exhale. Good job. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.